Good morning, Malacañang Press Corps and guests. Welcome sa press briefing ni Presidential Spokesperson Ernesto Abella.
Good morning. This morning we're privileged to have, for the second time, Secretary Carlos Sonny Dominguez. Secretary Dominguez has over 40 years of experience managing various organizations in the public and private sectors. Notable positions held by Mr. Dominguez were Cabinet Secretary of the Environment and Natural Resources and Agriculture during the presidency of President Cory Aquino, past president of leading Philippine corporations such as the Philippine Airlines and the Philippine Associates Smelting and Refining Corporation, and former Bank of the Philippine Islands Agricultural Bank. Ladies and gentlemen of the Malacañang Press Corps, let us all give a warm welcome to our distinguished guest, Secretary Sonny Dominguez.
Good morning. The Department of Finance has been very busy in this last couple of months on various activities. First, we have been very closely negotiating with our Chinese counterparts regarding the grants of that were committed by President Xi Jinping during President Prodi's visit of $9 billion in official development assistance, as well as commercial loans. We have also been meeting with various project proponents from China to discuss railways, ports development, roads development all over the country. We are certain that the private sector, which has also signed around $15 billion worth of investment and joint ventures with Chinese companies, are already starting their various projects. We have also begun discussions with the Japanese government in response to the announcement of Prime Minister Abe when he came to the Philippines and visited President Duterte, and he came with a commitment of another $9 billion more or less in ODA and commercial loans. In total, the President has raised a total of $33 billion in all these trips. We understand that his total expenses have only been around $5.5 million or around 270 million pesos, but he raised $33 billion. That is equivalent to spending something like 17 centavos per every 1,000 pesos that he has raised in investments and loans. For me, that is a very significant figure. You know, sometimes when we talk of millions and billions, we forget the relationship, right? This is the relationship of the expenses of the president with regards to the benefits that he has been able to bring home, as the journalists like to say, the bacon that he brought home. This, of course, does not include the other benefits that he brought back, which are better job opportunities, better transportation, better social services in the future. The Department of Finance also has been working as co-chair of the Minerals Industry Coordinating Committee with Secretary-designate Gina Lopez. She and I have signed the resolution of the MICC agreeing that we are to set up a technical working group to review all her issuances to make sure that these are in line with due process. The second meeting of the technical working group will be held this Friday, and we are going to start the work to make sure that all the issuances regarding mining were done through due process. The Department of Finance has also been very busy making sure that the customs and BIR are collecting their share in of taxes. We have a small slide here which shows that year-on-year growth for the whole of 2016, we were higher than 2015 by 9.3%, for the BIR, and for the Bureau of Customs, 8.2%. For the first year-to-date figures we have, which is January to February 1st, 2000 and not 19, I think it's 2017. The BIR has collected 12% more than they did last year for the same period, and the BOC has collected 13.3% more. Sorry, that's January 1 to February 19, 2017. So the BIR and the BOC are working quite hard, and we are pretty sure that they will hit their targets for this year. Another reform program that has gotten our office very busy is the tax reform for Acceleration and Inclusion Package 1, or House Bill 4774. It's moving very well. In fact, we will have a synthesis hearing next week to finally discuss the House bill finally, and hopefully the House of Representatives will report it out before they go on break on March 17. I'm open for any questions.
Question, AC Nichols, CNN Philippines, to be followed by Maricel Halili, TV5.
Hi, good morning, sir. Sir, on the technical working group
Yes,
with the Minerals Committee, just a clarification, sir. You said that it's for reviewing the issuances, whether the issuances follow due process. So, there's a possibility that there will be, if there's a finding na meron pong hindi nasunod na due process in some of the issuances, pwede pong bawiin, including yung pag-stop po sa ilang mining operations.
No, I'm sure Secretary Designate Gina Lopez welcomes the opportunity for the MICC, which she co-chairs, to review the actions that were recommended by her staff, and we just want to make sure that they have followed the due process, and of course, if there are some lapses in the due process, they can always correct it. They can always correct the lapses in the due process and proceed with what they want, as long as the due process, as specified by law, has been followed.
Because, sir, that's precisely what some mining companies are saying after the suspension of mining operations, that the DNR failed to follow due process. That's why some of them are also considering going to the courts.
Yes,
So,
correct.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
particularly, they're saying that they should have been consulted first. So,
Yes.
do we see this going there na baka possibly na the technical working group will move for consultations first between DNR and mining companies?
The technical working group is going to be composed basically of professors, of engineers in the private sector who are not connected with the mining, and also lawyers of the government who know what the due process are. Okay, they will review all of these and satisfy themselves that indeed the process has been followed religiously. Now, whether or not the mines affected would want to file lawsuits in court, well, that's really up to them. We cannot determine what they will do, but we certainly want to make sure that the defenses of Secretary Designate Lopez are very strong.
Maricel Halili?
Hi, sir. Good morning.
Good morning.
Sir, I just would like to ask, how's your working relationship with Secretary Gina Lopez?
Well, as I explained to her directly, uh, I mentioned to her that I want to make sure that whatever findings she makes sticks. Okay? That if she cancels a mine, that if in her judgment the mine has violated the law and she followed due process, I want to make sure that when she closes the mine, it stays closed. Because if due process is not followed, uh, two possible consequences will happen. The mine will go to court and the court will give them relief and they will open again. And they will probably file for damages against the government for closing them illegally. So I want to avoid those, and I want to make sure that Secretary Lopez, Secretary Designate Lopez, is in firm grounds when she does this. You know, that's my responsibility as co-chair and as a member of the team. We all belong to the same team of President Duterte.
Because, sir, during her press conference here in Malacanang weeks ago, I guess, she mentioned about the Tampakan mining. So just for clarification, sir, may we know what's your affiliation with this mining company?
None at all. Okay. As I explained also, you know, I was involved in mining twice in my life. Okay. The first one was not even mining. I was the CEO of Pasar, which is a copper smelter located in Leyte. I got familiar with mining because we used to buy their products. We used to buy concentrate from local mines and mines all over the world and convert them into copper. That was my job. The second time I was involved in mining was when the mine called Rapu Rapu, which was managed by foreigners, had a spill. The foreign stockholders asked me to put a team together to remediate, to fix up the mine so that they could operate again. So I took on that job. I put a team together. We worked very hard, and in 2 years, from 2006 to 2008, we fixed up what was wrong with the mine, and they operated again. So that after that, I have not been involved in mining, either in the management or as a shareholder or in any other capacity. So I am not involved in any mine at the moment.
But, sir, at least do you support the position now of the mining companies with regards to this issue on suspension?
The position I support is the position of President Duterte, which is that we must follow due process when we are dealing with all kinds of activities. We must honor our contracts, and we must behave as a government that is responsible. That is the only position I support.
Thank you, sir.
Pia Rañada, to be followed by Henry Uri, DCRH.
Sir, despite the resolution signed between Sec Lopez and yourself, there have still been DNR officials who continue to say that they did follow due process.
Yes.
So is the understanding of Sec Lopez similar to your understanding of the technical working group? Is it really going to have power over DNR issuances, or is this really just will she respect the decisions of the TWG given her statements that they did follow due process?
This is not a question of power over or dictating. It's a question of clarification, of making sure that President Duterte's stand of honoring contracts and following due process are followed. That's all it is, and I don't know whether people will how would you say, follow it as you say. I'm not sure, but we will certainly present our findings to the co-chair of the MICC.
And sir, is the option to appeal to the president still open to minors?
Always open.
And have there been any appeals made?
You have to ask Secretary Medialdea about that. I'm not certain.
Sir, last from me. Sir, given the presence of a TWG and this usapan nga po with minors and the DNR, there are still some mining companies who want to block her appointment into her position. Does this mean they're not satisfied with the presence of a TWG, given this is an opportunity for them naman to air out their grievances? Why still move for her to block her appointment?
I'm sorry, I cannot guess why certain people do certain things. But that is part of the democratic process. That is part of the process of getting confirmed that the Senate, the Senate and the House members of the committee ask people for their comments, and people are free to give their comments either for or against the secretary designate in question, or whoever is in subject to confirmation.
So, sir, you never spoke to the mining companies about this move of theirs?
No, I have not
To
spoken to
discourage
them.
them,
I have not spoken to them at all.
Henry Ori.
Secretary, good morning. Do you think Secretary Gina violated any laws or regulation when she decides to suspend or close mining firm in the country?
No, I cannot make that conclusion because we have not gone through the review at the moment. We will know if there were lapses in the due process as soon as we finish going through the issuances. You know, each contract is different, right? And the technical working group has to go through each different contract. This is not like one big contract with a group. The contracts between individual concessionaires and the government are very specific. So the technical working group will have to go through each one of them in detail.
And since you became a DNR secretary, did you have any recommendation, parang win-win solution sa government and in the mining sector?
I beg your pardon, I didn't get your question.
You became a DNR secretary, right, sir?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you have...
No, but the E was energy, not environment. When I was secretary, just long time ago.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Yes. Did I have a win-win solution when
Yeah.
I was there? Well, let me put it this way. When I was secretary, the mining industry was really in the doldrums. Very few companies were operating because the price of copper was very low. And there was a tax that the government imposed on copper exports. So there was hardly any activity. I was more concerned at that time with illegal logging. And at that time, I remember very clearly, I closed two loggers that were, one was logging in the last watershed in the Angat Dam, and the other one was given a concession to log in the last forest in Mindoro. So I shut those two down very quickly as soon as I assumed office. So mining was not a big issue at that time because there was not much activity.
Pero lastly, sir, based dun ho sa mga ipinalabas ni Secretary Gina, dun sa mga possibly nabasa nyo na rin at napanood, yung mga nangyayari ho sa mga probinsya na may mining activity, sa tingin ho ba ninyo talagang argabyado ho ang environment at saka, well, of course, ang bayan at ang mamamayan?
I cannot tell. As I said, no, I haven't been going around to see the mines. So I cannot really tell whether their operations are in line with the agreement with the government. Okay, so at this point, I cannot say one way or the other for any mines. There might be some mines that have violated the environmental laws. There might be some mines that are following environmental laws. So I can't really generalize at the moment. But you brought up the provincias and the municipios. There are some provinces and municipalities that derive a lot of their income, more than 50% of their local income, more municipalities, from mining. If mining is closed in those areas, we have to have a plan, not only for the people who lose their jobs in mine, but also for the municipalities that are affected. Because, some municipalities, as I said, earn more than 50% of their income from mining. And, they use this for social services in their communities, to help the seniors in their communities, to build barangay roads. So we have to have an overall plan as to how to help these municipalities, as well as the people who will lose their jobs.
Thank you,
So
Henry.
is that your recommendation, to have an overall plan?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm sure Secretary Designate Lopez has those plans. We just want to make sure that they are implementable and well funded, so that we can proceed with them.
Sir, baka lang may magtanong, bakit po Secretary Designate?
She has not been confirmed, as I understand. And if you're not confirmed, your title is Secretary Designate.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you, Henry. JP Bencito, Manila Standard, to be followed by Joseph Morong and then Hannah.
Hi, sir. Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Sir, can we know the timeline just in case of the technical working group that the finance department created? Also, sir,
No, we did not create it. The MICC,
The MICC rather, sir.
together with other members of the MICC, it's a very big committee. It is the Committee on Environment and the Committee on Climate Change put together. It's very big. Among the members there are NEDA, DOLE, Office of the President. So it's really a big committee.
sir, if I'm not mistaken, there will be a meeting this Friday. Sir, may we know the agenda just in case?
Yes, it's their organizational, not their organization. They will present the plan on what they will do, and also the budget. Because they will have to get professors from state colleges and universities and private universities, experts from different fields, and they will have to travel. So there's some money to be spent. So we have to make sure that there's a budget for that.
Sir, last na lang po on my part. Yung timeline po niya, gaano po katagal yung pinaka-extent ng review?
According to the technical working group, they will probably take up to 3 months to do this. There are, I think, at least 75 contracts that have to be reviewed. And, some of these contracts are very thick. And then they will have to visit. So, we will take a deliberate approach to this thing. We're not rushing it. It has to be very deliberate, so that we're sure that it's the correct process.
Thank you, sir.
Joseph Morong, and then to be followed by Raymond Tinasa.
Sir, good morning po. Sir, between the TWG, assuming they finish, no? And
They will finish.
of
Don't
course,
worry
I mean,
about that.
2 to 3 months na sabi niyo, sir, no?
Huh?
2 to 3.
They said about 3 months, yes.
Okay. Between their findings and Secretary Lopez's insistence that she followed due process, which will prevail?
Which will prevail?
Yeah.
Well, the evidence will be clear, and whoever has the evidence for their stand will prevail. I'm sure Secretary Designate Lopez has made sure that her staff did the due process. But since it is very controversial, I think it's important for the public, particularly the mines and the municipalities who are affected, to know that this indeed are true.
Sir, didn't you have an order to or advice to the LGU to study the effect of in terms of their revenue if the minings are closed? Would we have the initial findings of how much it will, the LGUs will lose if the
Yes, we do. Actually, that was prepared by the Bureau of Local Government Finance, which is under the Department of Finance. And we estimated around 821 million pesos. That's just an estimate. This was done very quickly. But it's around 821 million pesos per year. So this is every year.
So sir, ito yung mga areas from the 26 or 27 na papasaran, no?
No, I think all affected, right? Yeah.
Including the 70 plus.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Sir, pa-clarify.
But the majority are in about 5 municipalities alone, if I'm not mistaken. The majority of the money, and we can provide you those figures. We have them right here. Yeah, 17 LGUs, yes.
Sir, pa-clarify lang, kasi sa SALN po ninyo, meron pa kayong Philex Mining Corporation na share since 1967?
Yeah, that was a gift
Okay.
to my grandson from my mother.
Gift?
I think it was 5,000 shares. To my son. And we haven't transferred it to his name yet.
Gift to your son, sir.
From my mother.
So 67, yung 67, sir, sa mami niyo yan? Since
That is the
1967.
date of when my son was born.
Okay.
My mother had some shares.
Okay.
By the way, she's 93 years old already. I don't think she remembers how many shares she has. I'm not sure she has anymore. But she gave my son a gift when he was born.
Okay, so pero hindi niyo nakapangalan initially for you.
Yeah,
no?
yeah. Because he was a minor.
Of course.
And I don't know, we forgot to transfer it to his name. He's over 40 already.
So sa anak niyo po yun?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Joseph. Last question, Raymond Tinasa, Bomboradio.
Sir, good one. So just to clarify, what prompted the review? Was it because it's an automatic action or because of the complaints of the mining companies?
The MICC, the EO creating the MICC says that we should do this review every 2 years. So we're doing it. I mean, this is, we took office less than a year ago, so we decided to do it. But of course, the controversy also prompted us to do it right away. Anyway, it's also part of the law.
Sir, I understand the President already mentioned that he is inclined to favor and believe the recommendation of Secretary Gina Lopez after he made that aerial inspection in the Surigao area. So, do you think the result, whatever it is, of the MICC will ever change the already word of the President that he is to believe the recommendation of the Secretary?
I have no idea.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Raymond Tinasa. Thank you, Malacañang Press Corps. Thank you, Finance Secretary Carlos Dominguez.
Thank you very much. One.
Okay, Joseph Morong.
Sir, kung kayo, okay lang.
What publication or?
I'm from GMA 7.
GMA
Sir.
GMA 7.
Apo.
Yes.
Sir, kung kayo lang, do you think that Secretary Designate, as you call her, will be good for government? And should she be confirmed by the CA? Given her stance on the mining and stuff.
That's not up to me. We are a member of a team that was put
Okay.
together by President Duterte, and we exert all effort to work as team members. Being secretary is not like being a crusader. Being secretary is balancing the needs of the different sectors in society. Okay? Some sectors, in government kasi actually there's very few win-win situations. Some groups win and some groups lose. You just make sure that the majority, your decisions cover the majority and are good for the majority. So you have to have a very an approach that is very balanced. that is very deliberate, that is very rational, that is science-based, and so it's important that sometimes it's difficult to do it. Okay, sometimes you don't have enough information. Sometimes you're driven by circumstances. But I think every member of the government, whether secretary or director or any or mayor, has to balance. It's a balancing act.
We can read between the lines.
I beg your pardon?
We can read between the lines.
There are no lines. Please do not read between the lines. I am just
Okay, thank
just
you.
read the text.
Thank you, Joseph Morong. Thank you,
Thank you
Finance
very much.
Secretary Carlos Dominguez. Presidential Spokesperson Ernesto Abella.
Sunny, you stay? Oh, all right. Sure. All right. Thank you, Sec Sunny. This is yours, I think.
Thank you.
Some updates. The Philippines is among the top favorite of European investors in ASEAN. The Philippines is among the top of the 10 ASEAN countries preferred by European companies as investment destination, according to the European Union ASEAN Business Council Executive Director Chris Humphrey. It said that the Philippines is foreseen to further enhance the European interest due to the country's young population, the increasingly liberal trade and investment policies, and the largely untapped market. To deliver its promise to create 1.2 million jobs annually, the Duterte administration will attract more foreign investments, increase infrastructure spending, ease the cost of doing business in the Philippines, and continuously develop its human resource. Jobs to be created include those in construction, information and technology, business process management, tourism, manufacturing, transport and logistics, agri-processing industry, and the retail trade. Also, the IMF commends Philippine monetary policy. We welcome the commendation from the International Monetary Fund mission team regarding the Philippine monetary policies which are supportive of domestic expansion. It took note of the Comprehensive Tax Reform, CTRP, as among those that contributed to the strengthening of the country's monetary transmission and reduction of concentration risks in the banking sector, among others. Also, continuing and maintaining the current macroeconomic policies is part of the 10-point socioeconomic agenda. More updates. PhilHealth launches Interactive Voice Response System, IVRS. Good news to the public. Public health information will now be easier to access. The Philippine Health Insurance Corporation, PhilHealth, has launched the Interactive Voice Response System, IVRS. It's a public hotline system that will accommodate inquiries such as health insurance benefits, e-registration, healthcare institution portal, electronic premium remittance system, and member inquiry. The public can access the IVRS 24 hours a day, 7 days a week by dialing 02-441-7442. Lastly, Palawan farmers, fisher folks get 69.5 million worth of farm inputs, implements and fisheries livelihood support. To reduce rural poverty, the Department of Agriculture has distributed to local fisher folk 96 units of 38-footer fiberglass reinforced plastic, which costs approximately 180,000 each. We're open to a few questions.
Question about the statement? Other issue?
Other
Pia
issues,
Rañada.
all right. Duly noted. Thank you.
Microphone. Thank you, Joseph.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes.
Sir, the Liberal Party senators are crying persecution. They're saying that Malacañang and the administration in general is obsessed with monopolizing power, quoting the Vice President, and also marginalizing those who have opposing views. What is the palace reaction to this?
You're talking about, they're referring to the removal of committee chairmanship, is that it?
Also with the arrest of Senator Laila de Lima and everything.
And so forth and so on, yeah. Okay. Well, the stripping of the committee chairmanships happens every Congress. What happened yesterday is majority rules, and as we all know, Senate decisions have always been a consensus. So Malacanang respects the independence of the Senate and does not interfere in its internal affairs. The Senate is composed of 24 senators, so each senator has a mind of his own. So that's equivalent of, as somebody said, 24 republics which no president can control. So basically, there is independence in those decisions.
Follow-up question. Other issue, Joseph Moro?
Sir, what benefit will it give the president kung meron siyang control ng Senate and House of Representatives?
What benefit?
Yeah, sa administration if he has control of both the Senate and the House.
I think the operative word should not be control, but influence.
Yeah, but
Alright.
well,
Yeah, but
what benefits, sir? I mean, di ba may mga priority bills that the president wants to push, like the death penalty? and
there you
all
go.
that?
Okay.
I mean, I'm not. Pero sir, kayo, what do you think? I mean, what's the, yun nga, ano yung magiging edge ni presidente if he has the,
Better working relationships. Thank you.
Question? Malacañang Press Corps, JP Bencito.
Yes.
Hi, sir. Good morning.
Yes.
Sir, can we get a comment from the palace on the beheading of the German national? Sir, what are you? Are we talking with the German government with regards to this incident?
Of course, but let me just quote first, let's say from the AFP statement, okay? And we empathize with this. Okay? It's a mournful day for all peace-loving and God-fearing citizens of the Philippines. We finally received information from reliable sources confirming that Mr. Jürgen Gustav Kantner was mercilessly and inhumanly murdered by the KFR Abu Sayyaf group. Our operations in the past several days and nights using all resources were unrelenting, and we also lost some of our best men in the process because of the value given to the life of Mr. Kantner and the others who have fallen prey to this terrorist group. The deaths of hapless civilians like Mr. Kantner in the hands of these terrorists feed the resolve of our soldiers to hunt down all the perpetrators and to bring them to the bar of justice. We express our heartfelt sympathies and condole sincerely with this family for their loss. The AFP condemns in the strongest terms this abominable act of ruthlessness and loath and greed of this evil terrorist group. We commit to relentlessly pursue the ongoing all-out offensive to neutralize the perpetrators of this crime. There will be no let-up in our operations until we have rescued all the remaining kidnapped victims. AFP units will continue to search for the remains of Mr. Kantner to be handed to his bereaved family and to afford him decent burial that he deserves. This is from the AFP.
Sir, from the palace, parang
From
have
the
we
palace, that would be, well, basically, let me just quote also from Mr. Dureza of the OPAP. Okay.
Okay.
Sir, on another topic na lang po.
All right.
Sir, yung kay si Soljan yesterday, he was saying na Trillanes must have been liable for or is a person of interest for coddling criminals like Las Cañas. Do we share the same sentiments and how are we treating this pronouncement of the Soljan?
Of the opinion of the soldier. Let's leave it at that at the meantime. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Henry Uri, DCRH, then Hannah, NAC.
Mr. Uri, yes.
Sir, magandang tanghali po.
Yes, sir.
Yesterday, we asked the President tungkol dun sa kung anong magiging desisyon niya sa Tokhang kasi marami hong nagsasuggest. One is Senator Alan Peter Cayetano na ibalik na ho yung Oplan Tokhang and sabi niya he is going to consult PNP and AFP dun sa kanilang command conference. May update po ba kung anong napag-usapan at ano ang final decision kung ibabalik po yung Oplan Tokhang?
Regarding that, you must be referring to the command conference, no?
Yes, sir.
Basically, the only statement that came out of that is regarding the beheading of Mr. Kantner. All others, we don't have any word
So
on.
hindi ho napag-usapan yung sa Oplan Tokhang?
We don't have any decisions. We don't have any statements regarding the matter.
All right, thank you,
Thank
sir.
you, Henry. AC?
Sir, also on Tokhang, yesterday during the interview with the president, he mentioned something about parang tumaas na naman daw po by 20% yung drug crimes. I just like to ask, ano po yung basis nun? Meron po bang naging review recently or, yeah.
Well, if there were any reviews, and it probably, but we don't have any statements regarding the matter. Okay, thank
But
you.
the figure, sir, was that discussed in the command conference? Because he was very specific. He said 20%.
All right, but if you're referring to the command conference, we do not have any statements emanating from that. Thank you.
Okay, Oplan Tokhang, follow up. Other issue?
Sir, sorry, going back. Yun nga, sir, he mentioned it before the command conferences. So,
That's right. But after that, none. Thank you.
Okay. Hannah Sancho.
No, I mean, she wants me to make a statement on that, and I don't have it.
I'm just clarifying where he got the because it's very specific, sir. It's
All
20%.
right, okay. The only, if you're asking me for his sources, is that then this come from presidential sources. I don't have any statements
Okay,
regarding
thank you,
Thank you,
AEC. Hannah?
that. Yes.
Sir, na-mention din ng Pangulo dun sa interview kahapon na yung tinatanong siya kung pwede ibalik yung Tokhang at yung war on drugs. Kasi di ba medyo nag-lie low
That's right.
ang PNP. Ang
That's
sinabi
right.
ng Pangulo, medyo kulang pa daw
Ang alin?
yung mga polis na mapagkakatiwalaan.
All right, okay.
So, napag-usapan po ba sa command conference yung talagang thorough cleansing
All right.
sa
Okay,
PNP?
let me just let me repeat what I said. There are no official statements coming from that conference. Okay, the one that we can give you is which I just did was regarding Mr. Kantner. So all of these
Any
things.
fresh directives on, yun na lang sir kay Katner po. May fresh directives po ba ang Pangulo sa AFP and PNP about sa Abu Sayyaf?
About the Abu Sayyaf.
Yes. Since
Well,
tungkol naman
this
doon.
also comes from it also comes from the command conference. So we don't have any official statements at this stage. Okay. Thank you. Yeah.
On another topic, sir, last week, nag-meet po ang Pangulo,
With-
nag-dinner with the left-leaning cabinet secretaries.
Yes.
Ano pong update nun, sir?
Basically, it was just I think, as I believe, a reiteration of mutual support
Nagkaroon po ba ng support of what, sir? Sorry.
of one another's efforts, hindi ba?
Nagbago po ba ang desisyon ng Pangulo
Na alin?
baguhin yung kanyang desisyon na i-open ulit yung peace process with the
No, basically, I think it had to do with the secretaries, and they remain in the cabinet.
Okay,
Okay,
Thank
thank you. Ross and then Joseph and Pia.
Good afternoon, sir. Ask
Yes.
ko rin po kung ano po yung naging agenda
Ng
tungkol
alin?
po nung sa meeting po ng labor groups leaders with President Duterte. Meron po silang ipinupush na proposed EO for against contractualization.
Wala pang no statements also regarding that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Pia or Joseph? Pia? Pia.
Sir, may we know the agenda for the park later, Presidential Agrarian Reform Council?
Mamaya daw po. Mamaya.
Okay, Joseph.
Kwentuhan lang yun.
Sir, just
Nagtatanong kayo eh.
two topics, sir.
Yes, po.
Sir, follow up lang dun sa AMLAC na statement ni Presidente na he's willing to, at least as far as he's concerned, to reveal his net worth. Any actions that the President have taken?
Antayin na
probably-
lang natin na lumabas. Okay. Thank you.
Pero may plano po siyang to write the AMLAC?
Nang alin?
To write to the AMLC, sir?
I suppose so, but yeah.
Sir, sa Las Cañas na lang, sir. Right now, the decision of the Senate is to hear him, no? Pero with the Senate configuration na nangyari kahapon, do you think maapektuhan yan, sir? Should he testify?
Come again?
Should he testify para lang malaman na ng lahat? Because the President said hindi ganon yung relationship niya with Las Cañas.
Well, I think that much of it has already been a rehash na pag-usapan ito dati. And it depends on the Senate whatever actions they take on Mr. Las Cañas,
Whether he does or
whether he does or not.
Okay, thank you, Joseph. Last question, Chona, you?
Chana.
Sir, balik ko lang dun sa German.
Yes
Ano
po.
yung reaction kagabi ng Pangulo when he was informed na pinugutan na nga at saka may bago bang order sa AFP and PNP against Abu Sayyaf?
I'm sure he was deeply affected, okay, as he usually is regarding those matters. But regarding the actions, we'll just have to wait until we see the actual steps taken by AFP and the rest. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Chona, your last question.
Yes,
Maricel
Ms.
Halili,
Maricel.
TV5.
Sir, may we know the details about the meeting of the president yesterday with some Chinese officials or businessmen? Yes,
Okay, regarding the railway. All right, hold on. Let me see. That I think I have. Right. I don't know. It was basically a brief meeting reiterating the commitment of their company to partner with the Philippines in regarding key infra projects, including the possible railway projects, consistent with the agreements he made during the state visit to China. He also gave a profile of the company and pointed out possible areas of cooperation in building, planning, and maintenance in railways, including especially Mindanao.
Okay.
He also highlighted the important role of infrastructure in physically integrating a country and helping spur growth and development. The president welcomed the call and reiterated his socioeconomic agenda, which includes increased public spending on infrastructure. It was a very welcome meeting.
Sir, just to follow up on the reorganizational action in the Senate, sir, do you think there's a need for the president to have a bigger influence in the Senate nowadays?
I don't know if you call it a bigger need for the influence. You know, the Senate is quite independent of the president. They do what they need to do. Thank
Okay,
you.
totoo na to, Sir
Yes,
Pia
Ms. Pia.
Reñada.
Sure. No problem.
Sir, Senator Lacson had a recent statement saying that the confirmation of Secretary Yasay is the least of his problems, and in fact, he could be liable for perjury. What is the palace reaction to this, and has this been also brought up by the president, given his concern in the elections for people being elected or put into position when they are citizens of other countries?
I think Mr. Yasay has already made a very credible and logical and reasonable response regarding the matter. And so Mr. Lacson, of course, makes his own comments, but Mr. Yasay stands on his own explanation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Pia. Thank you, Presidential Spokesperson Ernesto Abella. Thank you,
Thank you.
Finance Secretary Carlos Dominguez, Malacañang Press Corps, and guests back to our main studio sa Radyo ng Bayan and PTV4.